requesting accommodations in high school to college is like, for me, it's not terribly different just because St. Mike's is really small. There's only about like 1,600 kids that go here. So the staff is like very attentive to what students need. There's an office called, um, I think it's called the Academic Enrichment Office, and they can help students if they need extra support. So I get in touch with these two people, and they're super friendly and nice and helpful. If I need anything in general for my classes, like if I need a note taker for a class, I get in touch with them or something like that. If it's a specific class and I'm like having trouble or something, what's another nice thing about being at a small school is I usually reach out to the professor directly and just say like, this is what I'm having trouble with. Can I take notes on my computer instead of by hand or something like that? And generally the professors are really open and willing to support in any way they can. So in high school, there was like a staff of people who could like communicate for me, but in college you're more independent, so like I have to do it myself. Like, like no one else is gonna send that email for me that works with me. If I want something to change, I have to do it more on my own, which is good because I'm not always the most organized person. So like it teaches me to like really advocate for myself in a way that is effective. So that's what I'd say is different. And then also too, just like I was on an IEP plan, I think they're called in high school, and I switched to like a 504. So it's a little bit more low key, but people are still willing to help if I need it.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm an academic advisor and accessibility coordinator at CCV, and I wanted to talk to you today about the process of applying for accommodations at the college level. So, this is a process that is going to require some self-advocacy and some communication on your part. And one of the first things to know is that there is at every school going to be some kind of accessibility coordinator or ADA coordinator or disability coordinator. Might go by different names, but there will be a person to whom you can talk to ask for and arrange for disability accommodations. When you need special access in order to get to your classes and do the work that needs to be done in the class, it is your right to have these accommodations. It is also your responsibility to explain that you need them, to give the documentation to your college to show that you need them, and to monitor along with your advisors and your counselors and your teachers your own progress to make sure that you're doing all the things that you need to do and that you can do in order to learn all the material that is being taught in the classes. So the process starts with identifying yourself as someone who needs accessibility to the class and needs some accommodations in order to make that happen. Each school will have their own process for how that happens. At CCV, we have a little box you can check on our application, and you can also fill out a self-disclosure form that we have on our website. And you can also ask someone at the front desk or ask your college advisor when you register for classes who you should talk to for accessibility and ADA accommodations. So those are three ways that I know of that you could ask for and say that you need those accommodations. Once you've identified yourself as someone who needs accommodations, you're going to be asked to provide documentation that shows that you need those accommodations. And what counts as documentation is something that comes from a provider, so a doctor, a therapist, a primary care physician, explaining what it is that is going on for you and how it's impacting your ability to access classes, and maybe suggesting some reasonable accommodations. So a doctor's letter or a note from a therapist would be the kind of thing that we would need. You can send that to your school. Usually you can fax it or email it or have your doctor's office fax it. So it would be good to make sure that you find out where that needs to be sent. Once it's sent in, the next part of the process would be to meet with an accommodations accessibility coordinator to have a conversation. And that's a chance for you to really self-advocate and figure out what it is that would be important for you in order to help you access classes on a level playing field with everyone else. Now, at the college level, one thing that they're not going to do is change the content of the course. So sometimes in high school, a course will have different learning expectations for different people or will modify the content. That's probably not going to be the case at the college level. Everyone's going to be expected to learn the same things, but we recognize that sometimes it takes more time or there are some special ways of delivering information that can really help with access and make it more fair. So those are the kinds of things that we'll be talking about in that conversation. After that, your accessibility coordinator will write a letter and share that with you. And as the student, again, this is another spot where you can self-advocate and make choices for yourself. You can either choose to share that letter with your teacher. You can hold on to it and just wait and see how you're doing in the class. And if you need it, you can share it at that point. Although if you do that, it's important to know that the accommodations can't be retroactively applied. So if you submit it in the middle of the semester, it's from that point on that the accommodations will be going on. The other thing is that even when you have submitted your letter and you're working through the class and you're having your accommodations, the process isn't really over. If you have any concerns about your grades or your progress in the class, you can meet with your accommodations person, your accessibility coordinator. You can talk with your teacher, and you can find out if there are other resources that might be available at the school that would help you as you go through your class. So sometimes there's things like online tutoring or a learning center or people at the library you can talk to. So having frequent conversations with an advisor or with your teacher or both are a good way to continue advocating for yourself as you go through your college career. I want you to know that advisors like me are here to help you. We believe in you and your ability to learn and your right to have access to classes. And I'm excited to think about you as someone who's applying to schools and getting ready for this next step in life. And, I hope to meet you soon. So wishing you very well in your college career, and thanks for listening.